Hi, it's 23rd December, it's a few notes from the orchard. I've just been to see the third Hobbit film, which was a big improvement on the second Hobbit film, which was a lot better than the first Hobbit film, which was really a bit disappointing. It is worth going to see for a Tolkien fan, but there have been some criticisms, certainly, and the character of King Thranduil, a few people have said, yeah, King Thranduil, King of the Woodland Elves, has been somewhat misrepresented, because we see him as being quite warmongering, quite a nasty sort of guy, quite selfish, whereas Tolkien has him saying as he stands before the gates of Erebor, long will I tarry ere I begin this war over gold. And we could talk a lot about that, and our leaders should listen to that as well. Tolkien, of course, was in the First World War as a soldier. Anyway, the reason why I say that is I was just thinking, long will I tarry ere I cut down a mature fruit-bearing tree. But we've just cut a few down. And here we are. This is the dead body of, well, there's still some life in it, but it's as good as dead, of a mature damson tree. This tree was planted in this row of damson plums, about size 12 boot there, to get an idea of the size of the tree. Oh, when did we plant these? About 15, 16 years ago. It's more than paid for itself. But we have got more damsons than we need. So what we decided to do, we've got 5 damsons here. We might take one out when they're growing into each other a bit thick. But this last year we didn't have markets to sell all the damsons we grew. We ended up with a huge wastage of damsons. I made some into wine. Okay, I've got 7 gallons of damson wine. I'm going to put some in an oak cask as well. It's a story for another day. But we didn't need all of them, and we're consolidating our pears here over this section of the orchard. This orchard here is called Cobbetts, named after William Cobbett, very interesting character who lived around here. You look him up if you're interested. Very interesting character. Anyhow, this section here used to be Bramley and Sunset apples, but we had too many of them. We couldn't sell them, it was a waste, it didn't work. So we dug them out and we planted pears instead, and these pears are mature and they've been cropping and they've been selling, and it's a big improvement to the overall orchard. So it's a hard thing to cut out a fruit tree that is in full bearing and would bear maybe for another 20, 30, 40 years, but sometimes it's the right thing to do. What we've done, we haven't finished the job here, we dug around them and then dug down to the roots and used the big 3.5 pound felling axe to whack through the roots, and then just pushed on the tree, leaving big branches to push on until we basically loosened it and severed it. We've taken 2 out there, we've got 2 haven't quite got out. We're going to replant with pears. Excuse the background noise, there's a council hedge thrashing machine over there. Nasty ugly things, but they do the job. So these are some pears. There's a mixture of Concord, Commie, Spur Hardy and a few others. And this is Winter Nellis. This is planted where a damson died of itself and was removed. So we're going to move some pears that we've got growing over there and move them down here. And we were going to, this is for beyond, beyond this section is the bigger section of Cobbetts, Cobbetts Major, or Cobbetts A as we call it, where we have a lot of apples that are mainly grown for the market. And we were going to pull a lot of these out and eventually replace them with standard Perry pears. But that's a very long-term project. I'm going to be 59 in a few days. Julia's not much younger, and we thought, well, do we really want to start a big, new, long-term project? No, we should consolidate what we're already doing. So we were going to plant this over to, I've been pruning this, I'll save it and work that later. We were going to convert this orchard over largely to big Perry pears, but no, we're not going to do that. We've got other plans. Been pruning these. It's a nice open centre pruning and collecting up the wood as we go around the orchard. I did a pruning. I'm doing the main pruning with a saw at the moment. I'll come back with the secateurs later. Although I'll be leaving lots of these good pencils of wood to send out to people who want to graft, as per my last video, and sawing up bits which, according to the cubit of my arm, which currently got the cider there, cider, my cubit is about the length that will go into our wood burner at home. So any wood that's at least about 15mm thick, with sawing that, and that'll be stored up and dried out, and it'll hopefully warm our home with the wood burner next winter, as last winter's prunings is warming our home now. At this very moment, as it happens. And yeah, the smaller wood, we're gonna pile it up. Maybe put a stake or two in the ground, help lift this a bit higher above the earth. Let it dry out a little bit, and then probably February, using some kindling, using some hazel, dried kindling from last year or the year before, we're going to have a couple of really good bonfires. So that's about it for now. I've got a few more stories to tell from the orchard this winter, particularly our splendid new compost toilet, twinned with a toilet in Cambodia through Tier Fund, and that's another story which I'll get onto in due course. So right now I'd better finish what I'm doing here and go home, because I've got to get changed, have some lunch, and go out and do an interview with BBC Radio Jersey. BBC Jersey, that's another story. Anyway, all the best and a happy Christmas, everybody. Atheists, pagans, agnostics, and brother and sister Christians, I wish you well at Christmas time.